Welcome to episode 72 of Let's Talk Immigration. The question that I'm getting a lot is what happened to the motion to stay in our Gomez case? Not our Gomez case, the Gomez and consolidated cases. We have 3 of the 5 cases that are consolidated there. Muhammad, Fong, Jung, and Kennedy. And so what happened? And so let me tell you what happened. Okay. I'm going to share my screen. Background. We filed a motion with Judge Mehta asking him to lift the stay. A stay is like a freeze of his order requiring the government to issue the 9,095 visas. He had issued a stay while we were waiting for the outcome of the appeal. So we filed a motion saying, just lift the stay. You know, if the Circuit Court of Appeals wants to do a stay, that's their business, but you could lift your stay. Government opposed it. We filed a reply, and Judge Mehta has issued his order, which I'm going to share and discuss right now, and then I'll go to question and answers, okay? So if you have a question about the order, probably wait to type that until I go over the order, okay? He starts by acknowledging that the motion was brought by Muhammad, Fong, Jung, and Kennedy plaintiffs, and he doesn't mention that Gomez wasn't part of this, but that's okay. That's actually fine. He said that we argued that the relevant factors have changed and the balance has tipped in our favor, in the plaintiff's favor, since we've been waiting. And he says, though the court sympathizes with plaintiffs, it is constrained to deny their motion. So what he's saying there is he understands where we're coming from, but the law has him kind of tied to where he cannot give us what we want. So he starts with defendant's notice of appeal divested this court of its control over those aspects of the case involved in the appeal. One aspect of the appeal is defendant's contention that this court lacked the equitable power to order the State Department to reserve 2020 visas for processing after the 2020 fiscal year expired. Plaintiffs now claim that defendants' likelihood of success on the merits has decreased significantly because of a subsequent published opinion by the D.C. Circuit, Boley versus Blinken, which they say confirms this court properly exercised its equitable powers. The court need not decide whether plaintiff's reading of Boley is correct. And basically what he's saying here is Boley goes to the aspect of the case that the court no longer has jurisdiction, and the court cannot vacate the stay because of our revised estimate of likelihood of success. So sort of what Griggs stands for and what the government argued in their opposition is that the situation that we're in, where situations are changing, but the appeal's taken a long time, we need to take that up with the Circuit Court of Appeals, okay? And so if you had not heard already, the Gomez class counsel is doing the first draft of that ask to the Circuit Court of Appeals. Raphael has already let them know that we're okay with that, and we're going to join in. And Charles Cuck, who represents the Acre plaintiffs, has done the same thing. He's okay. He's on board with it too. So what else did Judge Mehta say in his order? Let's talk about that. We cited that the changed country conditions in places like Ukraine, Russia, Afghanistan, and Sudan have increased the risk of our clients' health and safety. But he says that that doesn't move the dial either. and that consideration hasn't changed. Those circumstances are not linked to specific class members to justify readjusting the balance on class-wide basis. The irony of that is the class representatives are all in the U.S., so they don't have to worry about that. They're the 6 of them or whatever. I could tie it to class members, but it wouldn't make a difference to him because of his reasoning in the first section. Okay. And also, we argued that, a lot of the DV selectees, the Gomez class members, are showing up at the border, and that's not good for the U.S. That's causing another problem. And he points out that we didn't actually identify a class member who's doing that. Well, there's a reason why we didn't do that. When someone is seeking asylum, they need to be very careful in the words that they use publicly about why they're doing what they're doing. And so it's a tricky situation there. But like I said, the reasoning of the first section means this section didn't matter as much. I'm going through the rest of the order, though, to say this to show you something Judge Mehta wrote here that I think is important. The court very much sympathizes with class members who still hold out hope to secure their DV 2020 diversity visas. Okay, diversity immigrant visas. So Judge Mehta knows what you're going through, okay, and he sympathizes with you, but he lacks the authority to end the wait. And even when he looks at the factors, he says they're not in the favor of lifting the stay. But so that is Judge Mehta's order. Basically, we are in the same place as we were before we filed this motion. We're still waiting on the outcome of the appeal. The difference now is we have a plan to go to the Circuit Court of Appeals and to ask them something similar. Okay, it's going to be a little different. And like I said, the Gomez attorneys are doing the first draft. Okay, there's other news going on. New fees at USCIS. The fees are higher now. So if you're about to send in a USCIS petition, make sure you check to see whether or not that fee went up, because if you send in the wrong fee amount, they're going to return it to you. I'm going to skip to questions because I already see we got a bunch of them. Okay. David, DV 2020, sad, but what are we going to do? We will continue waiting. Thank you for the effort made. You're welcome, David. Okay. Juan, good afternoon. Greetings from Cuba. Greetings. Hola. I would like to know how, now that Judge Mehta dismissed the motion, he denied the motion, how much more open to continue waiting for the DV, for the 2020 DV to be able to achieve our dream? Well, one, we're going to continue waiting until this is done. Okay. I don't know how long it's going to take. We don't know that, but I'm not walking away. And he said, thank you. And another question, though, from Juan. If the Supreme Court gave its verdict in favor of DV 2020, the government lawyers would appeal again. Thank you. Well, there's no, okay, we're not before the Supreme Court, but if we were, there's no appeal of a Supreme Court ruling. The Supreme Court is the highest court in the land. Now, the Supreme Court is just one court higher than the Circuit Court of Appeals for the District Court of Columbia that's currently considering the issue. So if the Circuit Court of the Appeals Court issues an opinion and either the government defendants or us as the plaintiffs do not like something in that opinion, we can appeal it either to what's called en banc review, where it's like a review, all the judges in the Circuit Court would vote on it, or we could go to the Supreme Court, although the Supreme Court does not have to hear our appeal. They have the discretion to decide which appeals they want to hear and which ones they don't want to hear. So that's kind of the relationship with the Supreme Court. Right now, Supreme Court does not know about this case. And They will not know about it unless it's like not on their radar until if one of the parties, until we get an order from the an opinion from the Circuit Court of Appeals and one of the sides decides to appeal to the Supreme Court. Okay. Meta refused to lift the stay. Well, I wouldn't say he refused. He says he lacks the authority. So, like, yeah, he didn't lift the stay. I would say that. Let's be really kind to judges, okay? Judges are not causing our problems. That's the Biden administration. What's next? A request to the appeal court. Yes, that's what's next. What are the possible outcomes of this? And is there a time limit on when they should respond? The possible outcomes to, I don't know the answer to that question yet because we have not finished drafting. I haven't even seen the draft yet. That's going to the Circuit Court of Appeals, so I don't know exactly how we're going to ask them to do this. Can't really analyze it until it's done. Okay, so I can't ask the possible outcomes question, but the time limit question I can answer because you should know this because we've been in litigation now for 4 years. Federal judges do not have deadlines. Federal judges do not have deadlines. So is there a time limit on when a judge can respond to a motion? No, there's no time limit. Okay. What if the appeal court refuses to lift the Gomez stay after the request due? Well, then we are back where we started. We just stay patient and wait for the outcome of the appeal. Okay. Abdullah says, is there any hope? I don't know the context of your question, Abdullah. And that's important. Okay. I don't know what situation you're in. If you're in this conversation that we're in, you're a DV 2020 selected, yeah, it'd be premature to give up hope before we have the outcome of the appeal. Okay. Ajmal says, I'm your client. I have a couple questions. Can you please take me in the show? Ajmal, as my client, I'd prefer that our questions are protected by attorney-client privilege, which means the government does not know your question or my answer. So let's not do that in the show. Let's do that after the show. Okay. Email me or hit me a Telegram or WhatsApp. Actually, if we could do it tomorrow, it would be great because I'm preparing. I have a hearing in the morning and I'm preparing for that tonight. Okay. Yes. That's all. That's my email. Okay. Charles Cuck, all the teams will be filing something with the Court of Appeal shortly. What's this plan? Will it be useful? This plan is being headed up by the Gomez Class Counsel. And they know the details of what's going to go in the first draft because they're doing it. Okay. So I don't know those details yet. When I do know more information, I'll share it, which may be next week. I doubt it, though. It's possible. What's the plan? It will be useful. Again, the Gomez Class Counsel is putting that plan together. It's funny. I think that most of the Gomez Class Counsel comes to me with their questions and not to the Gomez Class. Most of the Gomez Class comes to me with questions. I'm not Gomez Class Counsel. You all understand that, right? I just represent Muhammad Fang Kennedy plaintiffs and also our Project Voyager clients. Okay. And so please share the link. We shared the email a second ago. We've already discussed this. Rahib says hello. Richelieu Lewis says, hello, sir. Any updates concerning DV 2021? Good luck. Well, this thing that we just did in Gomez is not directly related to good luck, but it's indirectly related to good luck. Because if we can make progress with Gomez, that case is consolidated with good luck. the Circuit Court of Appeals stage. So we did have a development with Gomez, but it's over now. We tried to do a motion where we asked Judge Mehta to lift his stay, but he didn't do it. So I do not know yet to what degree the ask that Gomez counsel is putting together that we'll be able to influence that as good luck counsel. It kind of depends on what they're asking and how they're asking it, and we'll have to look at their draft before we can weigh in on that. Okay, Fernando, on a case waiting for AP at a consulate, would you consider a good idea to first file a complaint with DOS's CIGIE before filing a mandamus in order to exhaust the administrative options first? Okay, most cases, NAP at a consulate, the case is at the SAC office awaiting the outcome of a SAO request, so the consulate has nothing to do with it anymore. I'm trying to remember, I'm trying to figure out what CIGIE is. CIGIE. Should I know this? I think the answer is no, because I don't know what CIGIE is, and I'm thinking I'm the person that would know what that is. The Council of Inspectors General in Integrity and Efficiency. I've never heard of that. I'm definitely going to Google it. I don't know how to, let me Google it right now because I didn't hear of that. It sounds like a good thing, but probably a group that has limited ability. Oh, I've Googled that before. Jimmy Carter put that together. Oh, this is the OIG. The OIG. You said the CIGIE. I see that it's called the CIG. But okay, the OIG. I have reported things to the OIG before, and they haven't really ran with my questions, but I think they get a lot of requests. A lot of the work of OIGs, the State Department's huge, okay? And so the State Department's OIG office has a lot of oversight to do. One example is embassies. They like to go and inspect an embassy and make sure an embassy's following all the rules. Well, there are like 180 embassies and consulates, and they only get to maybe 2 or 3 a year. So if you're lucky, your consulate may never get reviewed, right? Because we don't know if our democracy is going to last long enough for them to get through all of them. So OIG reports are, I mean, the answer to your question is no, this is a waste of your time, because that's not what OIG is looking for. OIG is looking for an embassy or a State Department sub-department that's breaking a rule, that's breaking the law in some way. If you read the OIG reports, that's always what they're going after. They're not following the protocol. They're not following the procedure. Your individual case being delayed in AP does not mean that a procedure is not being followed. So no, it's not necessary to exhaust all administrative remedies. Ajmal says, okay, so thank you, Curtis. We will make a Zoom meeting. Is that okay? Not for today. I have to prepare for my thing, but yeah, we can do a Zoom. Send me an email. Fernando says, okay, great, thanks. What is that, 20 minutes? I'm going to wrap up early because I have to prepare for my hearing tomorrow. It's in Santa Ana, California, before Judge Slaughter, and it's the AP case for Ronnie and family, and I'm eager to beat the government's motion to dismiss. So let's see how that goes. Selena snuck in a question. I'm going to answer it. I'm going to try. Selena from Bangladesh, Wilson versus Biden plaintiff. Hello, here to inform you we collected our passports with visas from the U.S. Embassy Dhaka 2 weeks back. Our category is F4. Wow. That took way too long. Okay. So since Selena was a plaintiff in Wilson v. Biden, that means that journey for F2A that was in the old days took a couple years, took like 4 or 5 years. That's very unfortunate. Oh no, it's F4 category. Sonny Wilson. I'm forgetting that Wilson was included F4 categories. Okay, so forget what I just said. I'm happy that you got your passports with your visas, and I'm sorry that took so long. I wish that the lawsuit would have speeded it up more than it did. Okay. Everybody have a great week, and I will see you next Wednesday for episode 73. Bye-bye. Hola Hafez.